Will Bosi had an incredible day of climbing, racking up no less than 9 double-digit boulders for an insane V-point total and multiple first ascents. We'll also talk about a mega project completed by wide boy Tom Paul Randall, and much more in this climbing news episode. My name is August. Welcome to August Climbing. I'm hoping you can give me a little bit of feedback today. Which are you most interested in, bouldering news or sport climbing news? Though I still plan to include variety in each episode, I'm curious if August Climbing viewers lean more toward one discipline over the other. Let me know in the comments, and hey, it's time to get started. Will Bosi just had one of the best high-volume bouldering days of his career. There might even be some type of V-point or first ascent record from this session, though I suppose that would depend on what type of parameters or specifics you put around it. Suffice to say, it's pretty mind-blowing, and for fun, we'll put up a little V-point counter as we go through this. Here's Will's Instagram post from September 28th, which recaps his session, but I'll cover some additional details that he shared in his broadcast channel. Will says, so back in Portugal for a week and managed to check out this incredible limestone beach crag. Basically just a crimpy 45 to 50 degree wall. I started the session by flashing Švecová 8A+/V12, maybe more like hard 8A/V11. I then sent Buenos Aires 8A/V11 first try, and this apparently shared the same first move, so he couldn't quite consider it a flash. I then flashed Black Knight 8A+/V12. After these, I started working on some of the projects there and started by getting the first ascent of Dante de Tubarão 8B/V13, and then added a low start, which felt a fair bit harder, so it's maybe 8B+/V14. Will continues, I then tried this amazing huge dead point project. I managed to get the first ascent on it too, and then added a low start as well, called Salto do Cavalo, and graded about 8A/V11 from a stand, and 8A+/V12 from the low. I then did a link up first ascent from the start of Dante de Tubarão low into Buenos Aires called Dante de Aires, and graded around 8A+/V12. Then finally I finished the mega session off, getting the first ascent of Montar o Cavalo 8A/V11, which is the straight up line between Buenos Aires and Švecová. So that places Will Bosi's mega session at something like 108 V points, not to mention 6 first ascents. A pretty nice day at the beach for a climber. And this was not even Will's main goal for the trip. He was there to get back on the Sintra project, which he posted about back in April, though unfortunately the weather was not cooperating with him this time. Keep an eye out on Will Bosi's YouTube channel, as he will likely be publishing a video of this mega session very soon. Next up is a third ascent of a V15/16 boulder called Flow State. But first, today's video is sponsored by Climbing Culture. I love the team over at Climbing Culture. Their values align well with this channel, and they really pay attention to detail in the creation of their products. Since July, I've been using Climbing Culture's loose chalk in all of my climbing sessions, and it's certainly been aiding in my journey to crush projects at my local gym. Now, I never head to the gym without Climbing Culture's chalk and this awesome chalk brush. They are the perfect combo that will set you up for success on the wall. This brush is more ergonomic and robust than the previous chalk brush I was using, while at the same time still being compact enough for me to easily bring along to the gym. Head over to climbingculture.shop to place your order. I recommend adding this chalk brush and a 2-pack of climbing chalk to your cart. You could keep both bags for yourself, or better yet, gift one to a friend. I mean, you don't even have to wrap it because the design on the packaging is so nice. For your convenience, use the link in the description, which will automatically apply code August for 10% off your order. Plus, Climbing Culture offers free shipping in the United States, and thanks to Climbing Culture for sponsoring this video. Stefano Carnati has made the third ascent of Flow State, V15/16 or 8C/plus. We talked about this boulder recently when Adam Ondra made the second ascent of it following the Olympics. It was first ascended by Pietro Vidi in spring of this year, and it's located in Valdeone, Trentino, Italy. Stefano had this to say about the climb. Last Saturday, I managed to make the third ascent of this excellent power endurance roof. Such a rad experience pulling through this line and sharing attempts with other motivated climbers. Carnati made no mention of grade in his post, but when Ondra sent it recently, he essentially suggested two different grades, V16 if you're short and thus have to cut feet in the final moves, but maybe more like V15 if you're taller. So we'll just say it's an amazing problem somewhere in that range of V15 to V16. Lee Sung-soo has sent the Smile V15 or 8C, located in Rocklands, South Africa. The Smile is a first ascent from Giuliano Cameroni in 2018, and Lee noted in his post, it was the scariest boulder I've ever tried. Sending the Smile brings him to a total of 4 V15 sent on this Rocklands trip, and be sure to check out his recently published video showing the ascents. I will link to that in the description. Lee also has his sights set on sending a V17 or 9A boulder problem, sharing recently, my Swiss mini rock trip is over. I didn't get to send Elfane V17 9A, which I had set as my main goal, but I'll come back stronger next year. And I have no doubt that we will continue to report on some amazing sends by Lee Sung-soo. Pietro Vidi has sent Dark Matter V15 or 8C in Magic Wood, Switzerland. This lengthy cave problem is a first ascent from Dai Koyamada back in 2011. It was originally proposed at V14/15, 8B+/8C, but Pietro had this to say after the ascent. Power endurance test piece in the darkness cave, psyched to take this one down, felt way harder than any other 8B+ in the cave. All the people who tried seem to agree this one's pretty hard. I think it definitely deserves to be 8C after all the little breaks. And Pietro isn't the only climber crushing it in Magic Wood. Petra Klingler had an epic day of climbing there recently, sending 3 problems of the grade V11 or V12, 8A and 8A+. Petra shared on Instagram, what an incredible day it has been. I can hardly believe it. It feels almost surreal. And she shares a list of some of these iconic climbs that she was able to set. Alex Megos is on to the next climbing destination following his success in Flatanger, this time getting on some classic climbs in the UK. Here he is with an 8A flash of a long traverse problem. Alex shares stamina band, so V11 or 8A. This is a piece of history. For decades, Raven Tor has been the training ground for many strong climbers from the UK, including Ben Moon, Jerry Moffat, Ron Fawcett, and Steve McClure, among many others. Usually all the routes and boulders here are hard, polished, and classic. Feels great ticking off another one from the bucket list. And why not also have some fun with a campus traverse on this classic V8/B9 or 7B+ boulder problem called Jerry's Footless Traverse. And next, something exciting is happening in the Czech Republic. Jana Švecová, also known as Jane Climbs, has made her longest link yet on Terranova, V16 or 8C+. We've talked quite a bit about Terranova on this channel, both in terms of Jane projecting it as well as Will Bosi. This is an Adam Ondra first ascent from 2011 when he was only 18 years old. And yes, to this day, no one has managed to repeat it. But that might change soon. Jane shared a reel recently of her completing a massive link through the crux section, noting that this section alone could be a V15 or 8C link up. On Instagram, Jane wrote, after yesterday's session on Terranova, I can finally say with peace in my soul, it's going to happen. And I cannot wait for that. Stay tuned for more. Now on to some sport climbing news, and here's something incredible from Laura Rogora, who of course is an accomplished comp and outdoor climber. Rogora has made the female first ascent of Goldrake 9A+ or 515A in Cornalba, Italy. Similar to what we were just talking about with Terranova, this line was first ascended by Adamandra in 2010 when he was only 17 years old. The route itself was bolted by Bruno Tassi, and Rogora's projecting in this climb may be the quickest of any ascender to date. Laura had this to say on Instagram: "I've been wanting to try Goldrake 9A+ at Cornalba for years, but for one reason or another, I never had the chance until now. After the World Cup in Prague, with 4 days before leaving for Korea, I finally got my chance. On my second try, I already made it with one resting, and the next day I sent it on my first try. The route is totally my style, maybe a bit easier than I expected, but absolutely amazing. To finish the day, I also managed to on-site the classic Jedi 8B and climb Gold Jedi 8C. So she managed to pull this off right in between two World Cups and found that it was a bit easier than expected, which is probably not because Goldrake itself is easy. This is a 9A+ climb after all, but because Rogora is in such incredible form right now. It'll be awesome to see how she does at the World Cup in Seoul this weekend. Now, rapid fire, let me share 3 recent 9A or 515D ascents with you. Delaney Miller has set Fat Camp in Rifle, Colorado. Yes, that's actually the name of the climb. And also happening in Rifle, Colorado, Kai Lightner has sent Planet Garbage. He shared, "Despite what the name implies, I found the route to be super fun and high quality." Ainhize Belar has sent Celedon in Spain. This is her 3rd climb of the grade, 9A or harder, and follows her recent ascent of Ainhize Americatan 9A+, which we spoke about in the previous episode. And here's something that I'm definitely excited to talk about. Wide boy Tom Paul Randall has made the first ascent of a 60-meter, nearly 200 feet, off-width roof crack on the underside of a bridge in Berlin. This off-width style of climbing is done in cracks that are too wide for the types of hand and foot placements that a climber would typically use when crack climbing. Tom describes the climb this way: 60 meters of stacks and wide pony with no respite until your numb feet touch the other side. It's the most I've committed to a single project for quite some time, and part of the reason why I've been living between the UK and Berlin this year. When I first touched the butterfly and hand fist stacks, it kind of seemed like 60 meters wouldn't be too bad, as me and Pete Whitaker have done some proper long cracks over the years. However, the first projecting session where I managed to get to just 15 meters along, it was quite a while down the line. Tom went on to describe his intense training and ultimate completion of this mega project. As for a potential grade, he shared, "Guesswork grade, it's 4 back-to-back hard 8As in a row with no rests. So using the get out of grading jail free card of Darth Grader, it's a soft 8C+. Or maybe it's just hard 8C. Definitely harder than Century, that's for sure. And let's hope that we get to see a video of his ascent soon." Janja Garnbret shared a reel that confirms she was indeed projecting bibliography during her recent trip to Seoul following the Olympics. Bibliography is the famed 9B+ or 515C route first ascended by Alex Megos in 2020. It was later repeated by Stefano Gazolfi, Sean Bailey, Seb Bois, and Jorge Diaz-Rulo. Bibliography has not yet seen a female first ascent, but hopefully Janja will change that soon. In competition climbing news, the World Cup in Prague took place from September 19th through the 22nd. This competition featured the bouldering discipline, and here's a brief recap of the results. In the men's final, Do-Hyun Lee of South Korea came out on top. He also won the World Cup in Prague last year. In second place was Manuel Cornu of France. He has not been on a World Cup podium in quite some time, so that was pretty cool to see. And then in third place, Toby Roberts from Great Britain, of course, the recent Olympic gold medalist. Also in the final were Serato Anraku and Tomoa Narasaki of Japan, and Adamandra of the Czech Republic. Adamandra put on a great performance for the home crowd. He also released a video following the Prague World Cup, definitely go check it out on his channel, in which he shared this will likely be his final bouldering World Cup. Andra is of course not quite as young as he used to be, and will be focusing more of his efforts on lead climbing competitions moving forward. So this was a pretty special competition then for Andra, and it was cool to see him make the final. On the women's side, Natalia Grossman of the US came out on top. In fact, she topped the qualification, the semis, and the final. Earlier in the season, she competed in the Salt Lake City World Cup, taking first place in boulder, but as she was recovering from an injury, she didn't compete again until the Olympic Games. And that was, of course, in August. She took 11th place overall, disappointingly not making the Olympic finals. So it was awesome to see her return and compete and show up so strong at this World Cup here in Prague. She topped the final boulder with about 30 seconds to go, securing that gold medal position. And you could see her emotions here after that top. Winning this clearly meant a lot to her. In second place then was Naile Mignon of France, and in third, Oceana McKenzie of Australia. And next, as we speak, the World Cup in Seoul is ongoing, October 2nd through the 6th, and this features all three disciplines, lead, boulder, and speed. This is actually quite rare in a World Cup to have all three disciplines present. It has not happened since 2014, so 10 years ago. At the time of this recording, the speed and lead events have not yet happened, but the bouldering results are in, so let's take a look at those. In the boulder men's final, guess who came out on top? Do-Hyun Lee of South Korea. He's definitely on a roll, this time winning in front of the home crowd. And take a look at this. In second place, Max Milne of Great Britain. I believe this is as close as the scores can possibly get. Max had one attempt to zone more than Lee. And finishing in third place, also securing that podium position, was Sota Amagasa of Japan. In the women's boulder final, I'm really excited about this one. Anastasia Sanders, or Annie Sanders of the USA, takes her first ever World Cup gold. And there were some other firsts here. Zelia Abazou of France took second place. Erin McNeice of Great Britain took third. And for both of them, this was their first ever World Cup medal. Definitely check out the IFSC channel to watch the lead and speed events in the coming days. Those will be exciting to watch. And hey, my name is August. Thank you so much for watching.